Today's Bible story is about sadness and loss and grief. Those aren't exactly happy words, but they are important feeling words that sometimes we feel. These feelings are normal and safe within God's love. Have you ever had someone close to you die? Perhaps a grandparent or aunt or uncle, or maybe even a pet that you considered an important part of the family. When someone dies, we feel sadness and grief. We have special worship services that help us think about and to process our feelings, called funerals or memorial services. We might think about all the things that the person did in his or her life and write those down in something called an obituary. We bury people's bodies in a cemetery or place their ashes in a columbarium. People put special markers or headstones on the grave that may give us a little bit of a hint about something special about them. When David's friend Jonathan died, he mourned. He let all of his sadness out in a poem. He wrote these words about his grief and loss. On the hills of Israel, our leaders are dead. The bravest of the soldiers have fallen. Saul and Jonathan, so wonderful and dear, together in life, together in death. Swifter than eagles, stronger than lions, Jonathan lies in these hills. I grieve for you, my brother Jonathan. How dear you were to me. How wonderful was your love for me. David was sad because grief is hard. I want to read to you just a few pages from a book that tell about a little boy and how he felt when his cat Barney died. The little boy and his family are doing exactly what David was doing when he wrote that poem and sang about his sadness for Saul and Jonathan. The book is called The 10th Good Thing About Barney by Judith Viorst. My cat Barney died last Friday. I was very sad. I cried and I didn't watch television. I cried and I didn't eat my chicken or even the chocolate pudding. I went to bed and I cried. My mother sat down on my bed and she gave me a hug. She said we could have a funeral for Barney in the morning. She said I could think of 10 good things about Barney so that I could tell them at the funeral. I thought and I thought and I thought of good things about Barney. I thought of 9 good things and then I fell asleep. In the morning, my mother wrapped Barney in a yellow scarf. My father buried Barney in the ground by a tree in the yard. Annie, my friend from next door, came over with flowers. And I told good things about Barney. Barney was brave, I said, and smart and funny and clean, also cuddly and handsome, and he only once ate a bird. It was sweet, I said, to hear him purr in my ear, and sometimes he slept on my belly and kept it warm. Those are all good things, my mother said, but I count just 9. I said I would try to think of another one later. At the end of the funeral, we sang a song for Barney. We couldn't remember any cat songs, so we sang one about a pussy willow. Even my father knew the words. Did you see how the boy wrote a poem to remember and celebrate Barney, just like David did in the scripture? I might want to say that I hope you don't have to feel sadness or grief or loss, but the reality is we all will at some point or another. And in those times of grief and loss, we can share our feelings with God and with others. God's love can give us comfort and peace in our sadness and hope for the future. I hope you'll take a few minutes today and talk with your family about grief and loss and mourning and God's care for us in all of our feelings.